Hello, Valencia County. Today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is the BCS Buzz, and we have a plethora of information and opportunities. Part-time, full-time, sub-lists galore. We are here to bring you the latest and more. Not to mention, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are not aware, the Toolkit has been released. We are answering questions, bringing you board meeting highlights, and we have the one and only Director of Human Resources. She is gorgeous, she is strong, and she has an irreplaceable laugh. Little known fact about Mrs. Tabet, she has a keen eye for unique and eclectic jewelry. She is quite the b-ball player, and she has a master's in counseling, which I think contributes to her thoughtful nature. We are honored and eager to have you here, ma'am. Mr. Sanchez, it's wonderful to see you today, sir.
Good to see you.
Yes,
we get to see you once a week.
I know. I enjoy my Wednesdays. I get excited to come up here and visit.
Visit all your old friends?
Yes, visit all my old friends.
Thank
yeah.
you for joining us today, Ms. Tabet.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and what an introduction. Somebody really poured it on. I appreciate it.
Aren't you a state champion in seniors?
Well,
Basketball
not
or no?
state, but we competed in the National Senior Olympics.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's such a cool thing. I love
It's
that.
fun.
She takes it serious.
I
There's
do.
No doubt about
I
that.
do.
I'm playing against
I'll
her.
never forget, right? I'll never forget when I first started at main office. It must have been like right when you guys were practicing. I knew her a little bit, and then all of a sudden I saw her scurrying out in basketball shorts, and I'm like, that woman looks like she's going to play basketball. And sure enough, it was true. She was. She's a b-baller.
I love it. It's
It's
fun.
cool.
It's good. Keeps you young.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not to mention she's an avid runner, so that's cool too.
That's good.
Yes.
You got both of them fit together.
Health
Yes.
and wellness.
Absolutely.
So as you said, a busy week. So
Yes.
what's happened since last week? Let's see. We reopened VHS,
That's right.
which is a good thing.
Yes.
You know, we're excited about that. There's been changes in the guidance or what we have to follow from the state. The watch list still exists, but we're no longer under I felt like it was a big boulder
Yeah.
hanging over us. Well, you've got 4 rep responses you have to close. They're giving us more control. It doesn't mean that our responsibilities are less. You know,
Right.
we got a parent concerned this morning about some things at one of our sites. I went and visited. There's some truth to it. And we have to get better about the mask wearing. This is not mask wearing.
Correct.
I have a mask on, but I'm not wearing it correctly.
That's right.
And, you know, the classrooms that I went through, a couple teachers like that, a few students like that. So it's minimal, but we need everybody's help with this. I'm making a plea to parents, staff, students. If our goal is to keep kids in person learning,
Right.
we have to wear our masks this way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not, well, the kids can't hear me, so I'm gonna take my mask off. No, it's not that. It's not, well, I can't breathe, so I'm gonna wear it this way. It's not that. The guidance from the state has been clear. When we are in a building, we will wear a mask.
Correct.
Correctly. It's not if, and, or but. And I don't think anybody's doing that on purpose, but we're just not taking it seriously enough. I know, or I believe, that if we have an outbreak at any of our sites, that one of the first things they're gonna say is, are you following COVID safe practices?
Right.
And Ms. Tabet is a member of our COVID task force. We talk about this all the time. It's something we have to do. It is, if that's our goal. The release of the new toolkit does help support this. Now, I need to say this because, it's frustrating. The PED released a toolkit yesterday with a huge, in my opinion, mistake.
I would say so.
And I've just sent out the correction, because they have corrected it. Let me rephrase that. It is highly recommended that for outdoor activities on school sites, that you wear a mask. It is not required. The language in the toolkit said, athletes, band members, ROTC members, anybody competing outside has to wear a mask.
Right.
Has to. That is not true. They have since clarified it. it is optional. The same for parents. It's the same for all of us. And I feel sorry for some of these kids yesterday, because this was released yesterday, and so the athletic directors right away let their coaches know. I was reading an article in the Journal this morning. They were talking about, man, the mask was just sopping wet and not effective at all by the end of practice, because they were wearing paper masks. I mean, even a cloth mask is gonna be, under a helmet, it's gonna be sopping wet.
Absolutely.
So now that's been adjusted. I don't know how that mistake happened. It bugs me that it happened, but
Yeah.
at least we didn't go too long. And
Right.
so that has been adjusted. Indoors, everybody wears masks.
Okay.
Outdoors, optional. Highly recommended for those who are not vaccinated or congregating in large groups. And to me, a large group is 10 or more.
Right. That's a super important clarification, because even myself, as soon as I saw that had been released, I started going through, and right away in my brain I start highlighting the changes. What's the same kind of guidance? And when I saw that, I said, whoa, that's a step back.
It's a huge change.
That's a huge change, and I thought to myself, athletics is such a big concern. I couldn't imagine how many people are zoning in on this new guidance and how this is gonna impact people. So big clarity, because I didn't know until I sat down at this chair that was actually a mistake.
Well, think of the logistics. So I'll share with you the thought that goes through my mind.
Okay.
Is we know that in Valencia County, in Valencia Consolidated School District, we have people that don't believe in these.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their choice. I'm not gonna discuss their choice.
Right.
But if we're told on our campus, you have to wear a mask whether you're indoors or outdoors, we have to enforce that.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, what I'm not gonna do is sit there and argue with people. It's either we're all wearing masks, if you choose not to, we're gonna ask you to leave.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna turn into something. If it turns into something, real simple, we just say, we're limiting the number of fans. So that we can
Right.
control it, because it's safety issues, it is. And luckily, we don't have to be put there. I wanna make that clear, that's not happening right now.
Yes, that's good.
But that was a fear.
Yeah.
Because think about in our community, you know, I was at a funeral yesterday. You go to a funeral, you know everybody there in one way or another. These are people we live with. I don't wanna be adversarial with them. But by the same token, we have to follow the rules. So I'm glad that was a mistake.
Yes.
I hope that with our indoor activities, such as volleyball right now, that we don't have those situations.
Yeah.
Because we don't have leeway. And we're not gonna start a revolution here.
Yes.
Well, in schools, it's not gonna be part of a revolution.
Right.
We will follow the rules.
Right. And we're not imposing our opinions, we're just following the rules.
It is.
It's just following the rules.
And that's our job. You know, another thing that I wanna make sure we get out there, I have learned during my time in Belen how seriously the community of Belen takes homecoming.
Yes.
We are very proud of our traditional homecoming.
True story.
It is, we are. We
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, and the kiddos, that's
The
like
kids
the
love it.
primary question and concern of my junior, you know what I mean, not
And
not
we have
dual
already-
credit.
Ms. Baca and I have already had a preliminary meeting with Mr. Aguirre
Okay,
to give some guidance before the new toolkit came out. And it can't be what it used to be, because let's look at all the indoor activities. So you have the formal, I can't remember what it's called.
Coordination.
Not the coordination,
Oh.
before the formal assembly, where you get to meet all the candidates. And think about that, that's a gym full of kids,
yeah,
packed in.
yep,
So how can we still keep that? Or not keep it? That's the choice, the decision we have to make.
right,
But do it in a COVID-safe manner. You have the coordination.
the rowdio,
In the auditorium, the rowdio.
yeah.
Spirit Day. And talk about the aerosols that you're putting in the air. Now, one of the things we're looking at, can we hold it outside?
Hmm.
So let's talk about rowdio. Can we have the rowdio with COVID-safe activities?
Yeah,
So that we're not so close?
yeah,
Yeah.
Can we wear masks? We're gonna need some guidance on that from the state. Also, if we're doing the spirit, assembly, you know, that's a great thing to be a part of,
yeah,
because it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's school pride. And it's not gonna be as loud because we're outside, but can we have it outside?
Yeah.
And spread the different classes out, so that we just don't have them all packed with screaming, which is putting aerosols out,
Yeah.
and we have to worry about that.
What I appreciate is that I know that education is our primary focus, safety and education, but it's nice to see that the leadership is thinking about this stuff, because these kind of events really matter to the kids and the
They do.
process through high school and the parents. You know, you go on social media, that it's asking all over, what about homecoming? What's gonna go on? And it's nice to know that we can also give attention and value to those things.
And so let's talk about parents.
Yeah.
This may not make them happy, but the toolkit says, limit all unnecessary visitors.
Yeah.
I know some of our parents love to come and watch all these events.
Yes.
We're not gonna be able to. We can't. We've already decided that. For during this time, no parents.
Yeah, little self-sacrifice so the kids can
Right.
have opportunity.
One of the things we're looking at for the homecoming dance is having it outside on the tennis courts. Because again, we have a responsibility to keep our students safe. We can hold it outside on the patio, but those of you familiar with Blaine High School, how many ways are there for kids to, if those who want, to go get in trouble somewhere?
Yes, true.
Right? But if we put it on the tennis courts, it's enclosed.
Clear boundaries.
You have to come in through a building, you leave through a building, so we can control, we have controlled access. We can take the nets down, have the DJ set up, have everything, and have it outside.
Nice.
We don't have to wear masks, but if everybody will work with us, we'll try and make it as normal as we can.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
great
key.
news.
We're having those discussions, because academics is number one.
Yes.
But we want them to have fun too, as much as we can. Those are some of the discussions going on. The toolkit gives us more control over what we're doing before we have to shut something down.
Okay.
You know, the data points are 3% of the total population is the first data point. Second is 5%. That's when the state starts asking questions. We have to have a plan in place for those data points. If we hit this data point, 3% would be the first one, 3% of the overall population. What are we going to do to mitigate the COVID?
So
pandemic?
one of the biggest changes you'd say then from that toolkit is it had gone from that 4-person. And you know, I have to know, if we go back to the last BCS Buzz, I called it and said, you often will make a suggestion that you think will work, and then next thing you know, we'll see it in the guidance. This was
Because all of us were asking.
because everyone was that, so it shows that they heard and listened and thought, wait a minute, it should be a percentage of the population, and that helps.
And even if we hit 5%,
Yes.
doesn't mean that we have to shut down. But what are we gonna do? And that's what needs to be in the plan that we'll be submitting.
Okay.
But again, we can't do it without the help of everybody. The support of the parents, the compliance of the staff and students, our educational leaders, our site leaders, making sure that people are following the rules. This is one area where your personal beliefs, they don't fit, because we have to keep the kids in school. That's the personal belief that fits, is keeping kids in school.
Keeping it, and it starts with wearing this mask inside like we're supposed to.
Yep,
All right.
it does.
Very good.
So, another concern, and this is why I asked Ms. Tabet here today,
Okay.
we need help. We do. I challenge any of our listeners, drive down the street in Belen, Los Lunas, Albuquerque, and see how many help wanted signs you see. I go into a business and it's very prominent, help wanted, on the marquee, help wanted. We're not any different. Is there any area that we don't need help in right now?
No, as far as personnel goes,
Mhm.
I would say no. We need substitutes in the classroom and in support areas. We are doing something different this year with Belen Consolidated Schools. We're contracting out a subservice through ESS. And if any of you are out there that want to sub, have thought about subbing, subbed before COVID and are thinking of getting back into it, I really want to encourage you to go to ESS.com. That's E as in Eagles, SS, as in superior, I guess. So you can get in there and apply to be a sub. So we would really, really be grateful if we had improved and grew our sub pool, because we are filling that need big time and our students deserve substitutes, and just like they deserve well-trained certified teachers, we need substitutes. So we're pleading with you, if you were a retired school teacher and you had concerns about your ERB retirement because they have gotten stricter on your earnings during retirement, this is no longer gonna have any impact on your ERB retirement.
Nice.
So please consider joining us on ESS.com to become a substitute.
And those are good points. So what Ms. Tabet is saying is that before, what would they limit to, 25 hours a week?
20.
20
It'll be
hours a week.
20 hours a week.
Wow.
If they were retired.
If they were retired,
Yeah.
which makes it hard.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
our
that's-
school week is a lot longer than.
Yes.
Right.
And so, and this is for retired teachers. It makes it, having that removed makes it easier. The other thing I like about it is all our employees, all of us, anybody that works for us, including our subs, previously, not anymore, had to pay into the retirement. Whether
Right.
you anticipated
That's right.
retiring or not. You, from your paycheck, they deducted a certain amount to put into the retirement fund. Working for ESS, that's gone. So your take home is larger.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Yes.
Because oftentimes substitutes don't end up retiring through ERB, but they're paying into
They're
it.
paying into it.
So that's a great point, that you will take home more money because you're not paying into it.
Very nice.
And
So
so we're
that's an excellent
hoping that,
change.
well, another area that we could use help in, bus drivers.
Bus drivers.
I saw my Google feed, that's where my Google feed, I like it because it knows what I look like, so it finds those stories that I might be interested in. I
Right.
read one this morning, bus driver shortage across the nation.
Mhm.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I think I read somewhere that districts were considering reimbursing parents for
Mhm.
taking their kids to school
Wow.
because of the shortage in bus drivers.
Wow.
And I can tell you in the state that athletic events are either being canceled or rescheduled to the weekends because there's not enough bus drivers to run the normal routes and take a team to a game location.
Wow.
And districts are having to pay overtime to do this, and that's fine, and that's not fine, but that's what we'll have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it really puts a crunch on the extracurricular activities. So again, as you mentioned earlier, in Belen and in other cities across the state, athletics is very important.
Yes, sir.
Part of the first thing you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
So we gotta be able to get those
Yeah,
kids
that's true.
somewhere.
Yes.
Somebody's gotta take them.
Somebody's gotta take them. And we need help. I think we're short 5.
I do not know the exact
don't know the
number,
exact
Mr.
number
Sanchez, I couldn't
And you know,
tell
I have
that.
to say, like, when I reflect back on when I was trying to get in the school district, I remember conversing with a friend of mine and she's like, oh yeah, you know, when there's opportunities, you gotta really go for it. I remember when I applied for my first position in the district, there was probably 4 jobs total posted on that employment site. And it's a great opportunity to get in with the schools because of the benefits and because of the calendar, the schedules, it's amazing. And so now to recently have logged onto that employment site and see all those opportunities, I mean, to the audience, you guys go check it out. There is just a plethora of different job opportunities on there. And it's not always like that. So this is the time to take that opportunity, I think.
We have other positions, we have a few teaching positions available.
We do at the secondary level. So what I would really like to encourage any of our listeners, and I'm glad you brought this up,
Mhm.
if you have a college degree,
Yep.
it doesn't necessarily have to be a degree in education. If you have a college degree in anything, you can go on an alternative license route and get in to teach. So you will have to go back and take about 15 hours in education and take some tests. But if you have a college degree, you could teach. You could be in the classroom. So we have some secondary positions that are open. Please go to BelenEagles.org and take a look at those. Mostly in the middle school and high school
Yes.
right now
Mhm.
is what we
Yeah.
have, so.
Well, and the thing is, I won't lie to anybody and say it's gonna be the easiest job you ever had.
No,
It's
it
not
will
easy.
not.
It's not
It will be a challenge.
It is a vocation, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you this, I don't think that even on the hardest day, that I've ever gotten any more satisfaction out of anything I've ever done. Because the kids appreciate it. They do.
Yeah.
And you may not realize it that day, but you know, Ms. Tabet and I were veteran educators. How many times Walmart, wherever, you run into a former student, they tell you, thank you so much for your help.
Yes.
Thank you for what you did. I probably wasn't cognizant enough as a teenager to let you know, but now that I'm an adult, I thank you for what you did.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm gonna tell you that feeling, you walk away, you're flying. You're like,
It's
yes,
true.
I
It's
got
so
through
true.
to that kid.
That's awesome.
Especially in your role as a counselor.
It's nice.
Yes.
It is, and it is. And when you see those kids that might have been struggling,
Mhm.
and maybe, they may not make it, and you see that they made it. You know, it was funny, I ran into a kid at Walmart the other day. How you doing? He's going through an electrician apprenticeship.
Oh,
Nice.
He's doing well. He's like, yeah, I'm doing good. And he was a good kid. I wasn't worried about him. But just to see your kids succeed and knowing that you had a little piece in it. and,
Right.
You know, there's nothing better.
It is an extremely rewarding feeling, I
Absolutely.
imagine, just.
It is. And, you know, I know that we get calls from parents. We had a parent speak on the school board meeting last night. Their concerns are legit.
Yes.
Very valid,
Very valid.
absolutely, and we take them seriously.
We do.
And, you know, we are doing our best to try and fill these positions. I think this is probably the worst I've seen it
Mhm.
in the 5 years I've been here. It seems like we always end up kind of getting people in place, but the openings, and I think again, that goes back to, not to make excuses, but we've had some challenges with the 55 rule.
I was just gonna say that.
So
Yep.
the 55 rule, for those of you that aren't aware of what that is, through the retiree health, they put in a condition that you can retire at 25 years, but to get the health benefit, you have to be at least 55. So for some, if you were 50, 51, and you were at 25 years, the most logical thing was to go ahead and retire now and not have to wait 5 more years or 4 more years to get the retiree health. That, I think, had some impact on
Oh,
some of our
yeah.
openings
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
You saw, yeah, I definitely saw that.
And we knew it was gonna happen. We were kind of cringing, waiting to see what the impact would be, but I think it did have quite an impact.
It has that and the COVID, and the other thing I want to assure anybody that's interested in
Mhm.
working with us is we take the COVID, the virus very seriously.
Yes.
We have on-site testing. If you want to get vaccinated, it's probably easier to get vaccinated through us
Mhm.
than it is through a lot of employers.
Absolutely, we have that
because
clinic coming up.
The educators are a priority.
Mhm.
And Ms. Baca does a great job of getting our educators vaccinated right away. If you choose not to get vaccinated, we still have that weekly testing that's available, that's on site. Just to be clear on this, you are not charged for it. Your insurance information is taken, but they're not, nobody is allowed to charge you a copay,
Okay.
deductible, anything like that. The state is paying for that, for educators. And so that's just another benefit. And then, as I said, very rewarding, and we will give you the support. I mean, we have programs in place, not just for professional development for all teachers, but what we're doing with, to provide the mentorship for beginning
Mhm.
teachers. You know,
Yes.
Ms. Tabet has
Right.
Ms. Denise Durbin,
Yes.
working
Yes.
with her now.
She's our new teacher mentor. She took over where Andy Montano left off.
Mhm.
And Denise Durbin, she taught at Belen High School for years, and she's the new teacher mentor, so she offers that support for our first, second, third year teachers, because that is the most critical time for our first early career educators, It's by the 5th year they decide if they're gonna stick to it or not, cause it is tough. It's a tough vocation, as you said, but we have that support.
That's
as well.
awesome, and like you said, it's tough, but again, so rewarding. And I'll tell you, being someone who worked many years outside of the school district before, one of the greatest, strongest factors in moving in with the district, it was that calendar.
Yes, I agree with you.
That calendar and that awareness. I know what's going on with my kids, I'm involved and I'm part of it, and that's one of the many benefits of working for the district, is you really get to be involved and aware of what's going on, and so it also contributes to parenting, so it's all around a really great place to work.
As you know, one of the things I've always bragged about is the support that the community of Belen
Yes.
gives to its students.
That's
And
true.
This is a new opportunity to help support us. Some people can't do this, and that's fine. That's the way it is. But if you can, we need your help. That's the
Okay.
only way I'm gonna say it.
My
We
brain's
need
already
your help.
turning. I'm already thinking about some people I think would be great subs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
definitely.
to
Tell
share. Should I tell us again, Mrs. Tabet? What?
ESS.com. If you want a substitute.
ESS.com.
If you want a substitute.
If you want a sub.
BelenEagles.org for all other opportunities.
Awesome, great information, guys. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was our hope.
Okay. It is. If there's nothing else, that would bring us to the question part of the BCS Buzz, and we do have a few questions,
Sure.
sir.
I always have
Alrighty.
questions.
Here we go. Why does Belen High School have the weird half days on Wednesdays?
That is for professional development.
Professional
And
development.
It's not just Belen High School.
Yeah.
It's all schools.
Right.
And it's not every Wednesday.
Yep. And there is the district calendar, the student calendar, that is available online. If you're kind of curious how to get to that, or you're not sure, give us a call and we will direct you. Print it off, check it out online, and it does show you those days that are half days. I believe that they're highlighted in blue.
I believe you're correct.
It's also a mandate
It
with
is a
our,
mandate.
we have a mandate because we chose to do extended or K-5 plus,
This is part of this the LTP.
the ELTP. So because we extended days, we also had to add in some professional development for all of our staff.
Good point. All of our
Yeah.
educators have to complete, and
80
it has
hours.
to be verified
Yeah.
Mhm.
that they've done 80 hours
So
of
that's
PD.
partly the reason why.
And again, it's gonna be what's best for kids, because we want our teachers to get better. We want them to improve at their craft. Teaching is not a job that stays the same. It's not the same as it was when you and I first started. Definitely not the same as when my mom started in 1960.
Right?
So,
There you go. The next question, will the high school be prepared better for another possible COVID shutdown? And now that the kids have the computers, will they be keeping them and using them throughout the year to make transitions easier if we get shut down again?
yes.
Yes, strong yes, I love that. I knew that was gonna be a yes.
And, we can always get better.
Right?
And
Especially when our intention is.
that we can always get better. Was there some things we could have done better? Yes. But we'll get better.
Awesome. And we'll just keep trucking along. And it is good to know that they still will keep those computers. Next, why are masks being required for outdoor sports when the health order only stipulates indoor sports?
Because the PED made it, I'm being facetious. here,
Yeah.
but just in case. Because the PED made a mistake.
Mistake. That was not correct. That was an inaccurate piece of information. To clarify to our listeners, it is highly supported,
Highly recommended.
highly recommended, but not
required.
mandated.
Right.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Have you hired a new cheer coach, or do you have any applicants? The girls need to finish their cheer season together. This is very important for our young ladies.
Another great question.
Yeah,
So-
I was even looking at that. I used to be a cheerleader. But
So talking to Coach Grenade,
yes.
we do have applicants.
Okay.
He was hoping, when I talked to him on Monday, he was hoping to interview this week. I agree with the person
Mm-hmm.
that asked this question. Again, the same type of situation. We needed help.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, cheer coaches, there's not a lot of them.
Right.
That's right.
There's not a lot of them. It's not, because it's not a full-time job unless you're a teacher. And I can't remember the last time we had a teacher that was a cheer coach. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's usually a second job. Finding somebody that can fit that into their schedule is difficult. And I talked to Coach Grenay, and luckily we had a few local citizens.
Oh, nice.
At least one, the last I checked, she had applied. And I know Coach Grenay was gonna do the interviews, and he said that a few others who have the background had talked to him and letting him know that they may apply. So we may have as many as 2 or 3. But yes, we will have one.
Perfect.
Soon.
What I'd like to add also to the part of this discussion is, it's very simple to, once we get a good pool of candidates and we interview and we select the candidate, they have to go through a licensing process.
Yes.
Right.
So that is what always kind of takes a while, because if this person doesn't have their coaching license,
Mhm.
they gotta go and take their
Oh.
class and their tests to get a coaching license, and then it has to go through PED, and that's the same with subs. You have to have a sub license. It's the same with EAs.
Wow,
You
that's
have to
true.
have an EA license. So it takes some turnaround time to get these employees in place.
Good point.
And
Great
I
point, yeah.
just really wanna remind people that, you know, we put it out there and it doesn't mean the next day they're ready to go.
Right, and-
They've got to be licensed, so
And-
it
That
takes
makes
time.
sense.
It takes time, so
Those-
just patience is really,
It's not one of those, can you start tomorrow
Right.
sort
no,
of things.
it's
Yeah.
not, it's not.
Because of the licensure and the background check, and I haven't had a chance to show this to Ms. Tabet yet, but they did tell us yesterday that, surprise, surprise, that the PED is short-staffed right now too. That they have a
shocked.
bunch of openings.
Yeah.
And that they recognize that one of the holdups is in processing licenses.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
what they've done is pull people from other departments to get that backlog taken
Good.
care of. So
Oh,
that-
nice.
Great.
That may help,
That may help.
but
That may help.
again, it doesn't turn it into an overnight process.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't, it
There's
doesn't.
still-
One of the
system in
things
place.
that is our responsibility is making sure that the adults who interact with our children are of high moral character. And that's part of the
Absolutely.
background check.
That is,
It is, we can't have somebody who's not.
Yeah, that's
Interact
definitely
with our
not the
kids.
process that we oversee or skip. That is
Right.
priority.
It
Yes.
is.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful answers, guys. Last but not least, why are the school board meetings not being held in person?
The reason they're not being held in person is because one of the things that has started because of the pandemic is people liking it, wanting to be able to tune in and watch from the comfort of their home.
Right, yeah?
We are in the process of having the sound system and revamped in the boardroom. We're also in the process of having a video camera system put in. We look terrible when we're trying to do it off a camera, off a laptop.
I know that,
We've gone
sir.
through that.
Absolutely.
The
You can't
sound-
hear them, you
you can't
can't
hear
barely see
anybody.
them.
The sound is terrible.
Correct.
You get feedback, and then we get the comments, why can't we hear anybody? Why can't we hear what's going on? This is terrible. So we've changed what we're doing so that we have that communication. They haven't started yet because again, everything that we do is a process.
Yes.
It's not, hey, let's do this.
yeah.
We have discussed it, we have to get quotes for it, we have to have the people come out and say, this is what we're gonna do. It has to be approved at the state level because we're using federal funds to do this. And then the work can start. But my goal is hopefully that by the end of September,
Okay.
this will be in place and that with our board meetings, they can be in person to us. We'll have to look at where we're at as far as the pandemic and to how many people we can have. We can't have a huge standing room only down there. That wouldn't be smart.
Right.
That wouldn't be smart at all.
Right.
But to be able to have a select group in person
Yes.
but still be able to have access for those that can't come in.
Sounds good. It's strange to reflect back on like my first board meeting and how very different it was back then. But I do love that we have so much more community awareness and involvement now that it streams. I mean, people that otherwise would have never even known there was a board meeting going on is now, tuning in. And so, the more the merrier with us knowing what's going on.
Well, I heard you when you came in today
Yes.
saying, Yeah, I was watching the board meeting while I'm working out.
I do. My trainer is so kind. She lets me put the board meeting on, and then we go from station to station, and we just have it there, and then we're all listening, and whoever else is around us can hear what's going on in the board
Now
meeting.
imagine working out down in the boardroom while the board meeting's going on.
Yeah,
Not gonna
that'll be a
happen.
whole new ballgame, that's for sure.
So again, we have more participation
Yes.
because of the flexibility.
And more awareness, I love that. Absolutely, that is the last question, which brings me to my favorite part. We had a challenge last time. We didn't get a winner, so I'm going to throw that challenge out there again to our audience. Whoever can call wonderful Cindy at 966-1003 and share with her 3 COVID-safe practices that they are aware of or that they observe happening. Call us, share it out. You're gonna win a gift card. We want to give a free meal to someone. Call us, let us know, student, parent, any community member that knows of 3 COVID-safe practices. We do encourage students because we want to give you a prize. Give us a call, 966-1003, and you're going to win yourself a gift card to Sonic.
Awesome.
Yes, it has been an honor. I have learned a lot. That clarification on the masks, super important. The website, if you want to be a sub, all the new information, so many things we've learned today. To the community members, I hope you have an incredible week. Stay safe, stay happy, and just have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Remember, we need your help.
Yes, we do.